I'm going to bring you through a basic meal prep for 5 days, say Monday through Friday if that's your work week, and you can extend this or decrease the duration as you want, but for most people a 5-day is a good way to start your meal prep. So the two foods we're going to use in this demonstration, one's going to be chicken, one's going to be rice. So I've got chicken tenderloins. They're from Costco, and they're the frozen type, and they have basically like an ice glaze on the outside. They're pretty nice because you just take them out and cook as many as you need. For the chicken, the serving size is going to be 4 ounces of the tenderloins. There's 3 things you need to look at on the nutrition label when counting your macronutrients. So I've got the bag of white rice that I use, and you'll see here there's a lot of information. The 3 things we need is going to be the total fat, the total carbohydrates, and the total protein. Okay, so that's it. You don't have to look at anything else. If you have allergies and stuff like that, of course, there might be other things you need to look at, or if you're diabetic. But anyway, for the chicken, per 4 ounce serving, you're going to have 1 gram of fat. Then you're going to have 0 grams of carbs. And the last thing we needed from the nutritional values is going to be the grams of protein, which there's 25 grams of protein per serving of 4 ounces. So for the fat, carbs, and protein, we have the values there. Let me explain what grams are versus calories, since most people are curious about that. You'll see for my Monday through Friday macronutrients, I'm trying to hit 230 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbohydrates, and 60 grams of fat. I've got the math worked out here. So if you multiply the protein grams times the calories per gram, you're going to have 920 calories. If you multiply the carbs times the value of calories per gram, you're going to have 800. And for the fat, 60 times that multiplier, which happens to be 9, you're going to have your total calories there. I cross those out because we don't actually count any of this stuff. We use macronutrients. It simplifies the process. Let me explain the calorie to gram ratio for each. So for the protein, you're going to have a multiplier of 4. Or to keep it simple, we'll just say you have 4 calories per 1 gram. So for every, we'll say per gram up here, gram, you're going to have 4 calories. Okay, for carbs, you're also going to have 4 calories per gram. And for fat, you're going to have 9 calories per gram. Okay, so calories equal fuel. Grams equal actual weight. So the fat is more dense per gram than the carbs or the protein as far as fuel. So does it really matter whether you're eating the fat, the carbs, or the protein in any specific order? That's up for debate, but what does matter truly is your balanced diet if you're ever going to try to get your metabolism firing properly. So if you have a metabolism that likes to gain body fat very easily, then you need to keep a relatively strict diet, and it is very important. So at the end of the day, if say you had a daily requirement of 4,000 calories, just as a number, and you compose that of fat, carbs, and protein, if you hit just that number a day, in my opinion, you would probably maintain your weight as long as you ate consistently. But it's easy to go over your daily intake with fats, because for every 1 gram of fat, you have twice the potential fuel as it would have been from carbs or protein. So I think fat gets a bad reputation because it is so dense with fuel, and the excess fuel turns into body fat on some people faster than others. So for every 1 pound of body fat, that's equal to 3,500 calories. Okay? So whether those 3,500 calories were composed of an over consumption of protein, carbs, or fat, I don't think it really matters. But that's your golden rule. For every 1 pound of your fat on your belly, it's about 3,500 calories. So think about that. It adds up quickly. So let's get on to this. Now that I've kind of gone off into a tangent there, but I wanted you to understand this ratio, and I want you to understand what macros are, because you're going to hear everyone talking about macros. It's I wouldn't say it's a fad, because I don't think it's going away. It's easier to count macros than it is to count calories, because you have it's a simplified version of it. It'd be like counting everything in pennies instead of dollar bills. I would compare to macros being dollar bills, and instead of paying everyone in pennies. So anyway, we've got the values for the chicken. Now let's get it for the rice. So this is just white rice, also from Costco. I buy a lot of stuff from there. Looking at this, the nutritional facts, there's 3 things we needed. Again, that's going to be the fat, the carbohydrates, and the proteins. So serving size is a 1/4 cup. That's unprepared, and so that's prior to your cooking it. And then the total fat is 0, so 0 fat. Carbs, we have 35 grams, and protein is 3 grams. So okay, so we've got these values. Now I want to hit, say, 230 grams of protein a day, and I'd like to hit that mostly with my chicken. That's going to be my main protein source. So for every 4 ounces of chicken, I'm going to have 25 grams of protein. And you see it's relatively lean. There's only 1 gram of fat. So if I wanted to have most of my protein from this chicken a day, which I do, I'm going to divide that into this. I'm not going to get it all from this because I want to leave some room for something else, maybe some eggs, or maybe a whey protein shake or casein protein shake. So let's do this. Let's multiply the 25 times, we'll just say 8, because if we multiply 25 times 8, that would give us 200 grams. 200 grams of our 230 grams right there, and we'd have it all from our chicken. Now, so we know we want 8 servings. Now we have to multiply that by 5 days. So we have 8 times 5, which is going to be 40 servings. Now each bag of that chicken only has 24 servings in it because it's 6 pounds. So I'm going to need 2 bags of this chicken, or 12 pounds of this chicken approximately, to last me for the work week. I know that's a lot of chicken. Get used to it, especially if you're a male trying to put on muscle, because it does take a lot of protein. So that's going to be 40 servings. Now we know how much we need to cook. You're basically going to cook both of those bags, although you're going to have a couple remaining. You're going to have, 8 extra servings, so you can actually get through to Saturday, or eat a meal tonight while you're cooking it. You could get down to some chicken. And then for the rice, so 1/4 cup is 1 serving, gives us 35 grams of carbs, 0 fats, of course, and 3 grams of protein. So good, we've got our carb source there. If we multiply 35 times 2, we know that's 70. And say if we multiply that times 2, so that's basically, if we went 4 servings of this, we'd have 140 grams of carbs. So let's go 35 times 4 equals 140 grams of carbs. Okay, so that gives us 60 for the day remaining. So that's good. We've got it figured out for one day. Now let's multiply that 4 times 5. And we know 4 times 5 is, what, 20? So we need 20 servings to last 5 days. Okay, 40 servings divided by that. See, it's going to be, what, 16 servings? Yeah, so anyway, our 16, sorry, 4, 20 by 4 is 5. We're going to need 5 cups. That's what I was trying to get at. How many cups are we actually going to need? So a quarter cup times 20 equals 5 cups. Okay, so we need 5 cups of raw rice and however much water. Actually, that's pretty simple because white rice, you need, for every 1 cup of rice, you need 1 cup of water. So, bam, 5 cups of rice, and that's going to last you your 5 days. So let's look at what we've got just in our chicken and our rice per day now. So we know we've got our 200 grams of protein from the chicken. So we have 200 grams from the chicken. Let's go rice. Kind of did this backwards, doesn't really matter. And we do have some protein from the rice, and we're having, what, 4 servings of that, so 4 times 3 is 12. And let's go up to the carbs. From the rice, we have 35 times 4 is our 140 carbs. And then 0 from the chicken. And then our fat from the chicken, if we're having 8 servings, 8 times 1 equals 8. And the rice is 0 grams of fat. So let's just add these up in the middle. So we have 8 grams of fat, 140 grams of carbs, and 212 grams of protein. So, good. We've got that laid out. So that's what we've got. So we look at our daily intake. If we're looking for 200 grams of that protein, we know that we need to consume another 18. We need 18 more grams of protein. For the carbs, we're looking for, we've got 140, we need 60 more grams of carbs. And fat, we need 52 grams. That's easy. I'll let you guys figure that out. A couple of tools you can use when you need to hit more fats. Butter is a great one. There's a crap load of fat in butter and there's nothing else. So there's no protein. And I like peanut butter when I have some carbs and fat left, because I think 1 serving of peanut butter is like 18 grams of fat. Maybe it's like 8 to 12 grams of carbs, and there's maybe 7 grams of protein. So you could actually have some protein, carbs, and fats from that peanut butter if you want. But you figure that out. So this is just a quick rundown on how you might set it up for the week, because a lot of people are asking me, and primarily I make this turkey chili every week, and I've been eating it every day for like 4 months. People complain that I never make anything else, but I'm the one eating it. But they want to have a different meal prep, so they want to know how you do it. Well, chicken and rice is pretty much the bodybuilding food. Eggs are also one of them. I use a lot of egg whites, especially carton ones, because they're pasteurized and ready to go. You can drink them raw if you want. So hopefully this answers your guys' questions. If you have any, just leave a comment below. I'll get back to you. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, please leave them below, like I said, and subscribe. I appreciate your support, and feel free to check out my website, and that's www.altered-genetics.net. Thanks.